Alright, so in this video, I'll be um, teaching her how to solve this um, algebraic equation, where it involves quadratic equation with square root in one side, and the other one is just a plain quadratic equation. So it's like this. Um, oh wait, square root x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals x squared plus 5x plus 5. All right, so how are we going to solve this problem? Usually we take the square root of both sides to eliminate the square root. But if we're going to do that, let's say we're going to take the square root of both sides. I mean, not square root, square, sorry. We're going to take the square of both sides. This will become bigger. We'll have a bigger exponent. It will end into x to the power of 4. It's going to be harder to solve. So we're not going to take that way of solution because it's going to be harder to solve already. So this is how you do it. Observe that this can be square of binomial. If you take the factor of this, it will become x. Anyway, let me show you the factoring of this quadratic equation. X, and then it's 2 and 2. So that when you cross multiply, it will be 2x. And if we're going to add it, it's going to be the same with the center. So that's how you do factoring. So that means the factor of x squared plus 4x plus 4 is x plus 2 times x plus 2, which is actually square of x plus 2. So just that's the basic. Okay, so that means this one can be transformed into square root of x, square of x plus 2. And then we'll copy the rest. All right, so let's remove this draft. And then square root of square. So we're gonna focus on this for now. Square root of a square. You can actually remove or cancel like canceling the square root of a square. But then the square root of x squared is actually an absolute value of x. So the same thing here. Square root of x plus 2 is the absolute value of x plus 2. Now, if you are unfamiliar with solving algebraic equation with absolute value, the if it involves absolute value, we're going to solve it in two cases. One is to retain it as positive, and the other one is make the expression into negative. So because there are two cases here, this x plus 2, sorry, this x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 0, or the x plus 2 is less than 0. Okay, so that means it's either 0 on positive numbers, or it is negative numbers. That's the letter B. So either a positive or negative, it's the same result because it's absolute value. Any number, if you put it in absolute value, the result will always be a positive answer. Okay, so that's basically the idea of absolute value. So let us solve this. So this means if we solve this further, the x must be greater than or equal to -2. Now, if x is greater than or equal to -2, the absolute value of x plus 2 is always the same as just simply x plus 2. It's because the one inside the absolute value will always be positive because it's more than or equal to -2. So it's either 0 or bigger. So if you say you're going to replace x by -2, it will be 0. If you're going to replace x by a bigger number, bigger than -2, let's say -1, -1 plus 2 is +1. So it's going to be the same even if you don't put the absolute value anymore. And so we're going to solve this first. In this case, x plus 2 equals x squared plus 5x plus 5. So I don't have enough space, so I'm going to move to another slide. X, I'll just copy that. X, sorry. X plus 2 equals x squared plus 5x plus 5. All right, so we're going to solve this. So let's transpose everything in the other side. X squared plus 5x minus x plus 5 minus 2. So this will be x squared plus 4x plus 3. So we can factor this, x and x, 3 and 1. So if we cross multiply, that will be 3x and 1x. So which is the same as the center. So that means the factored form of that is 0 equals x plus 3, x plus 3 times x plus 1. It's a factored form. So we can solve x plus 3 equals 0 or x plus 1 equals 0. So x is -3 or x is -1. Now, the condition of letter A, it says that x is greater than or equal to -2. So that means the x equals -3 cannot be considered because it's lesser than -2. So the answer for letter A condition is x equals -1. Next is we're going to solve the second one. It says x plus 2 is lesser than 0. So for letter B, x plus 2 is lesser than 0. So that means x is less than -2. So if x is less than -2, that means it's not going to be the same with the absolute value of x plus 2. Because if we're going to replace x by a lesser than negative, let's say -3, -3 plus 2 is -1. Now, if you put it in absolute value, it becomes +1. So it is not anymore the same with x plus 2, but it's actually the same with a negative of x plus 2, which is -x minus 2. So basically, you just put negative because the result of x less than -2 is always the negative of the result. So now we're gonna continue solving the same as letter A. -x minus 2 equals x squared plus 5x plus 5. So this will be 0 equals x squared plus 5x plus 5. Sorry, plus 5x plus x plus 5 plus 2. So x squared plus 5x plus x plus 5 plus 2. So this will be 0 equals x squared plus 6x plus 7. So we cannot factor this easily. You cannot find a factor of 7. If you add them, it's going to be 6. So what we need to do is to use a quadratic equation. So x equals negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Sorry. B squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we have um, our b here is 6, negative, so it's going to be negative 6 plus and minus square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1, which is the a, and the c is 7, all over 2 times 1. So let's solve this further. It's going to be negative 6 plus and minus square root of 6 squared is 36, and 4 times 7 is 28, all over 2 times 1 is 2. So we're going to transfer it to the next slide. We don't have enough space anymore. So, what was that again? Negative 6. So I'll just copy the previous slide. Plus and minus 36 minus 28. 36 minus 28 over 2. So let's review if everything is correct. Okay. So then we're going to continue solving this, simplifying. 36 minus 28, that's 8. Plus and minus square root of 8 all over 2. Then we can simplify this further with 8 is 4 times 2. So we can get the square root of 2, which is 4. Sorry, square root of 4 is 2. And leave 2 inside. Then we can factor out 2. So we can cancel. That's the reason why we take out the 2. So that we can cancel the bottom 2. So this will be gone. And what's left is negative 3 plus and minus square root of 2. So that means x is negative 3 plus square root of 2, or negative 3 minus square root of 2. Now you have to keep in mind that the condition for letter B is x is it must be less than negative 2. Okay, so this should be considered in the answer. Now obviously this is oh wait, I forgot to put x here. Oh yeah, it's okay. So it's the same. So this one, negative 3 minus square root of 2, obviously that is smaller than negative 2, because it's negative 3 and then you add another negative number, it's gonna be lesser. Because square root of 2 is approximately, that's around 1.5. So if you subtract negative 3 by 1.5, it's gonna be around more or less negative 4.5. So it's obviously lesser. But here, the negative 3 plus square root of 2. So since we know that negative 3, I mean, you know that square root is approximately 1.5. So if we're going to combine it with 1.5, so this will be around negative 1.5. So approximately by estimation. So that means it's more than negative 2. That's the point there. So it cannot be part of the answer. So it's only this. So that means that the possible values of x overall is in general. So the first one was x equals negative 1. So x is equal to -1, or x is -3 minus square root of 2. So this is now your solution set, or the value of x.